Hey everyone, welcome to Judging for the Win. I'm Dave, and this is my daily ruling. Today's question was suggested by a viewer. Thanks to Curio Wasp for this one. Amy activates Chameleon Colossus. Nick responds by casting a Shrink against it. What are this creature's power and toughness after everything resolves? And to answer this question, we'll need to know a little bit about how numbers work in Magic. Normally, the only numbers Magic uses are positive integers and 0. I promise I won't turn this into another number theory video. April Fool's is still a couple of weeks away after all. But this does raise an interesting question about what Chameleon Colossus's power will be after the Shrink resolves. If we keep reading that rule, we'll have our answer. It is possible for a game value, such as a creature's power, to be negative. Therefore, when the Chameleon Colossus's ability resolves, this creature's power will be -1. If a calculation or comparison needs to use a negative number, it does. Therefore, if a cut down needed to know what the total in power and toughness of a -1/4 creature is, the answer would be 3. Cut down still couldn't kill Chameleon Colossus because for some reason it has protection from black, but this definitely could come up with some other creatures that you might be able to think of. And here we get to the part of the rule that answers our question. If a calculation that would determine the result of an effect yields a negative number, 0 is used instead. So Chameleon Colossus's ability will give it plus -1 plus -1. Now that's a negative number, so 0 is used instead. The Chameleon Colossus stays as a -1/4. It does not become a -2/3. For completeness, I'll talk about the last sentence of this rule, which says that you can use a negative number if the calculation doubles or sets a specific value to a player's life total or a creature's power or toughness. People might colloquially say that Chameleon Colossus's ability doubles its power, but that doesn't actually count for purposes like this because the card doesn't say the word double anywhere on it. Now in contrast, if Nick shrunk a Mr. Orfeo in response to its ability, the boulder would end up as a -6/4. Let's cool down with some challenge questions to test your understanding. First, let's say that Nick shrinks Amy's 3/3 and then Amy plays a giant growth on it. What are the creature's power and toughness now? And here we'll recall that the game values, like a creature's power, can be negative. So after the shrink, then Amy will have a -2/3. And the game can use negative numbers in a calculation just fine. So the giant growth will make that creature into a 1/3. Next, what if Amy activates a Viridian Joiner and Nick shrinks it in response? And the answer is this can't happen as described. Viridian Joiner has a mana ability, which means it does not use the stack and it cannot be responded to. But I know nobody cares about that right now, so let's say that Nick shrank the Viridian Joiner and then Amy activated it. Well, in that case, the game would be trying to use a negative number to determine the result of an effect, so 0 is used instead. Amy adds 0 mana. Same idea goes if you try to mutilate bottled golems. That doesn't make its controller lose life, they just gain 0 life. And finally, what about if Amy has a Platinum Angel, so she's at -10 life, and then she plays a Beacon of Immortality? Remember, effects that double a life total, power, or toughness are allowed to put negative numbers into the final result, so Amy goes to -20. Same thing goes for effects that set one of those things to a specific number, so Repay in kind actually works a lot better if you can get your life total in the negatives. And that's all I have for you today. How did you do? Join me again next time for another daily ruling. Until then, I hope you have a great day.